child of the 80s. Television was our daily slavery. High fructose.
Legal marijuana and the new federal stances behind it. Here's the thing. We gotta see what those stances are. So here's a little bit of this asshole in the Trump administration named Sean Spicer. What?
Spicer.
He's not spicy. He's bland, like mayonnaise. All right, well, here's mayonnaise guy.
Mayonnaise.
And recreational marijuana. And I think that when you see something like the opioid addiction crisis blossoming in so many states around this country, the last thing that we should be doing is encouraging people. There is still a federal law that we need to abide by in terms of the medical, when it comes to recreational marijuana.
That gave me a little bit of a headache. I can't. Okay, so TV Damage, take it off first, because I got some mixed feelings on this, and I want to hear what TV Damage got to say.
You know, every time I see that man on TV, I want to see him in Melissa McCarthy a hell of a lot more. My thoughts on that? It was totally a whiffle answer. It was just kind of a whatever answer. He kind of threw it out there, but just the nonchalance, and of course the just abrasiveness of this fucking of this cabinet, of this administration. Yeah, we are going to probably see the Department of Justice go ahead and step on people's rights that they democratically voted for, if you want to think of it that way. It's more or less surprise, we're not going to tell you the whole story, but we're going to give you a hint. It seems their hint is clearly, yeah, we're going to go after a plant. We're going to go after people who are paying into large tax bases, into huge tax bases under cannabis legalization. And I don't really even agree with it. I mean, a lot of it really was, commercial capitalists that were the same people that had more or less benefited from, say, young youths, young people of color having to sell weed on the streets to survive. It's not like they're put to parts of towns where there's lots of jobs that are looking to hire kids. So what do? They have to go out and sling the weed. They get busted by the cops because if you're out there being, if you're out there doing anything they don't want to and looking the way they don't want to, they're on you like stink on shit. And, yeah, it's the same thing as Manifest Destiny. Get people out of the way and then set up shop. And, the cannabis industry, as far as the recreational industry that he wants to target, is no different in this regard.
I mean, that's the point of my problem, right? Is, yeah, we see, like, whatever, they want to go after recreational marijuana. But, like, in this state, right, when we take, like, Ian Eisenberg and Uncle Ike's or many other, like, examples, legalization helped target people. Like, I knew single mothers that were like feeding themselves by selling a little bit of weed that got targeted during legalization because they didn't have the money, which equates to average about $250,000 to start a legal marijuana business, as well as being lucky enough to get the permits in the first place.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Last time I checked, I think there was pretty much all white, like everybody got the permits, but like it still puts people of color away to this day for selling marijuana. And then it hurt the market, and a lot of people that were barely getting by, that were able to pay the rent with this, no longer can. And so it pushes them in a situation where if they can't get a job, they're stuck having to do other things to come up with income. Some people would generally think is worse, like whether it's on harder drugs, whether it's get in a situation where they end up having to hit a robbery or something, and that's some real stuff sometimes. I'll be honest with you, people aren't always just out there to cause trouble. Some people need to feed their children, and if you take, the more options you take away from somebody, they're going to feed their children. Like, they're going to do that. That's the thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, you can't just go with the credit card option.
So, like, I don't feel empathy for the legal marijuana businesses, especially Ian Eisenberg, because Ian Eisenberg specifically was all about targeting a lot of these local, like, delivery services that popped up. So whatever happens to him, he deserved, man. You wanted to work with the state to try to shut down people, then if the state shuts you down, I don't care. I don't care if the feds shut you down.
And he's supposed to look virtuous by being the guy that, oh, I did short my employees their tips. Well, geez, I'll fix that. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, he's not a good dude. But I also am not for arresting people in incarceration because it's still in the same thing. A lot of people are going to start getting picked up on Fed charges that aren't the legal dispensaries as well, which is more. I mean, I don't want nobody to go to prison, but I don't mind illegal dispensaries getting shut down and the market being put on the black market. I do not want the prison industrial complex, which is the real reason he wants to go after weed, bolstered like it's about to be. Is really the truth about it. So I feel mixed. I am all pro weed. Don't get it wrong. I'm pro consuming, pro hustling. I believe in decriminalization. To be clear, I believe that the state, the feds, all that should say the F out of it, and it should just be an open market for anybody to enter, and that's what would happen. I think it should kept smaller than like Amsterdam did, where it's less than 10 pounds, so no big corporate heads can just jump on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Instead, it could be small business and revitalize the small community, especially impoverished folks. It's kind of how I feel about it. But the thing of it is the other irony is they started talking about the opium heroin problems. But the problem about them talking about these heroin opium problems, the government caused that. From one, really hard on prescribing Oxycontins and flooding the market, a lot of pain clinics popping up, those things that the government really wanted out there. Also, shutting down methadone clinics, which is bringing people back to, using heroin a lot of times, which is an artificial flood that, much like in the past, the government caused itself. But it's also a false equivalency because weed has nothing to do with heroin.
Oh yeah, no. It tends to kill some of the high, honestly. That's why you'll see junkies that'll quit smoking weed. Yeah, it's been my experience. That's exactly what they do. They'll quit smoking because they want to get high off the other stuff. So these are worlds that generally do not intersect at all, and yet we're going with the old 50s conservative style of conflating the two as being the same problem. More the old drug war propaganda. And I just see this is just another continuation of that. Just a more kinder, gentler, and I'd say more glib version of what was the old times. In any case, in any way, a lot of what needs to be honestly done with cannabis is a rescheduling that would make it to where your employers could hire people and not fire them over things like that. Insurers can insure people. Businesses could flourish under that. But that's not looking like that's coming any fucking time soon under good old Cheeto Hitler. So, or Sean Spicer. He was the shrunken head that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, I feel it. So, we want to hear what you think we should do. What do you think their steps should be do? I personally, as far as the heroin side of this conversation, am for safe injection zones and safe use areas with medical treatment and decriminalizing people who are suffering from addiction. I'm not for any type of drug war whatsoever. No. But let us know what you think. What you think the solutions are down below. You know what I mean? Also, what you like to see happen with around marijuana and the marijuana industry, and also how do we interact with Trump's decrees? I say decrees because he's fucking Nero. I swear to God. But
he'll play the fiddle while Rome burns.
It's burning already. It's pretty. Anyway, so leave a comment. And please hit that like button, because I promise you, 25 Trump supporters just disliked this video. So, let's counter that.
Yep.
The videos are always Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So stay tuned.